Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
This module across, it's built with our leaves, the sick leave, the occasionally the comp of some of those things. First, we'll go to the theory part of all those things, and then we'll jump into the configuration path. Might be tomorrow or in the next session. The very first thing in order to create occurs at the worlds, its leaves and the other things. Now move, cross in, not in course in every place. Everywhere we should have thing to capture the details. Let's say if we are running, they will capture how many distance we have covered. If you are driving, they will capture your high speed and how much time you have taken. Similar way in Kronos. Also, we need to capture how many hours we have worked for all days. We have how many days we have worked for how many. Many kind of things will never be considered pictures. In order to store those things, we have pickles. And the pickle is a storage piece. It's a storage to keep the account of. What do you say? How many hours we have worked, how many money. How many? Basically, it's not about your salary. The money which comes in picture over here is your. I will say, whenever you get allowance, any kind of allowance like uniform balance, electricity allowance, that kind of things, or some extra payment bonuses, and all those things that all comes under the money kind of thing. Money is all about those things. RC is basically the normal number of hours we have worked. We have worked, say it has 5 hours, and days is used to capture the things in one day, today. But whenever you create a paper with today, we need to tell your day is considered as 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, for how many hours in the system your days are. These are the kind of pickles pay code creation we do on the paper. This is we will not as of now. We will start just about the pickles. There are 3 kind of pickles, 3 units for pay codes. I will say those are ads, money and days. Now let's talk about the very first building block of factorial same thing. In order to do the payment, we have payment from the approval code. We have actual codes. After all, codes do the same thing. Actual code do the same thing. Just we do with the pay codes, but the pay codes will use things related to your normal payment, all the payments, whereas the actual code will use to store your accrual related number of hours of balance. We have a wall of balance. We have how many things you have, how many hours you can take. And if you do want to do some extra credit. Now I will be saying about this one. Yes, now actual codes is a block or storage to keep count of hours, days and money related to your leaves. And again, they are the different types of actual codes which is used in order to store the very first thing we create as storage. There is a difference between actual code and the pay codes. You might be thinking like we are doing storing things. Correct. We are storing the things in pay codes, and same thing we are storing in a closed code. Both of them are used to store the things. Correct. Why we are using two things? The reason we are storing two things is in the time card, you cannot apply a code. What I am saying is in the time card, you cannot apply accrual codes. Accrual codes will only be available in the bottom tab where we see the list of actual sets we have. Pay code is used to apply the leaves. Pay code is used to apply in the time card. Now what I am saying, we use pay code to apply in the system. In the time card, an actual code is at the bottom. We can see what all actual codes you have, how much is your balance. That is what I am saying. Now you might be wondering how we create the relation between those. Let us say if we have one pay code, sick pay code we are using, we will be using it with a sick code, accrual code. Sick pay code will be used with sick accrual code. That kind of relation we create under accrual policy. Whenever we go, we will. There is the second top of the accruals thing. We use the accrual pick codes, accrual codes, and the pay codes, and we mention those things over there. We mention those things over there. We are going to be with pay code and actual code. We create a relation between accruals and pay codes, and then we use the relationship. We create a relationship in actual policies, and then we use that thing over there. The next part I will be talking about will be the dates. Now, whenever you are using or creating any kind of what I will say, anything good I suggest will be your what I will say when I will like early basis, we get leaves in a system. And then you might get on your anniversary. Then you also get leaves on your on quarterly basis. These things, we do create these dates. We need to create in the system. If we do not create this system, these dates in the system, how the system will know when we need to trigger and when we need to get the credit or when we need to deduct things. Usually we do the credit deduction or these things is done not by us. It is done whenever you apply using the pay codes and deduction. The credit, whenever we need to give, what would be the limits, how we can restrict the employees or employees to take leave, how many days of leave they can take within a particular range. All these things we do. This kind of stuff do you doing while creating the dates. There are three types of dates. The third one we usually do not use. And that is the symbolic date. Simply don't use symbolic date. Symbolic date is basically used whenever you want to take into the consideration of your, I will say your employment term. Now the two most important dates in Kronos are site-wide date, the very first site-wide date. These dates are not very say these dates are common dates to all the organization. to all the organization. That means it is not specific to an employee, not specific to any region. It will be applicable to all over the globe where the company resides. That is a general, we can say general dates. I say 1st January, 1st March, 3rd of all this symbol, and 1st of all, just now, if any date that can be applicable to all the employees. That are the dates will be site-wide dates. Now the another type of date which is important, these person-specific date. What are the specific dates? Are the dates which are specific to an employee. If it is specific to an employee, it will mostly be the data file. And mostly we will use it to fare over here. What I am talking person. Specific dates are dates which are specific to an employee or specific to a person because your hire date can be different from can be. I am not thinking can be. It is always different. Rarely you will see someone having the same data file, whereas the 1st January is same for all the employees when the date of hire date or a hiring date is different from each of the number. I hope you can understand that. That is why we have two different important dates, site-wide dates and persons, specific dates, and the third one is symbolic date, which we usually don't use. Persons. Specific date used data fire, site-wide date directly. You dates from the calendar. You can select dates, whereas symbolic date will be using employment term. These are the different dates. Now let's say you have created a date. Using that date only, the system will trigger the credit only on that date. Let's say we have created for January 2020, 2024. On 1st January 2024, everyone will get the credit. Everyone will get the credit at that time. What about the next year? What about the next year? Will they get the credit in the next year? No, they will not, because in 1st April 2022 and we wanted to give 40 hours, the system will do the credit of 40 hours on 21st April 2020. What about 21st April 2020, on 20 June 2010, 300 and on many dates are there, many years are there. What about those days? By using only dates, we won't be able to create it on a regular basis. If we can only give credit on a single person using dates. Sorry, we can only give credit on a single date using dates. Because dates will have a single date. There is no any kind of indication that next year also we need to do was if you mention that first. After 20 years, this is a one single date. It's not moving forward. It's not going forward. We will only come to dates once and then we'll move ahead. Dates is used to give a starting point. Dates is used to provide the starting point of anything. Once you reach your starting point, then you need to tell the system, we want to do it again and again. We want to do it on a sequence or in a duration of, let's say 1 month, 1 year. What a week? 10 days, 5 days on an early basis. We want to give the credit. For doing those things, we have dates. As we know, dates is used for creating dates. We need dates and date patterns. That will tell the system, this is your starting point, and this is where you will start working. This is where you will start working. That is what dates. Using the reference date, we created patterns. And what exactly did it pattern? See, date pattern is a predictable sequence of dates. It's a sequence of dates. It's not a random one, it's a sequence of date. And the difference between date will be defined by us. The sequence, how the sequence will go on, is defined by us. Whether it would be weekly difference or a multi-list sequence or an early sequence, it's all we need to define. This is all we will be defining. Now the example is we have weekly date pattern, the aroma date pattern and weekly date pattern. The start of date is 15th March 2023. And the next date would be 23 March, 30th March, and it will go on, it will go on. If we have created a month, even it would be 15th March, 15th May, 15th May, 15th year, 15th July, 15th August, 15, blah, blah, blah. That's how we created a date pattern and the frequency of date pattern. The frequency is basically because of the type of date patterns. It's a frequency. The frequency of date patterns are days. How many days you want to move it? It's not all of us the weekly, monthly or like. That's why we wanted to move it on a 10-day duration. That today, how we will use the weekly will too. Or if that's the case, how will you use the weekly, monthly, yearly? And that's another week. Sorry, I was checking that. Now the next thing is we have a weekly frequency. That is, we already talked about the weekly one. Then we have a monthly. We already talked about the monthly one, like capital, May, July, and the support of the normalism. Then will be very much a pretty. It will go on continuously. We have a yearly one, 15 March 23, 15th the day for the 15 March 25, and it will go on. Pay period, not pay period, is something which you need to learn. Pay period means for the duration of time for which you are going to do the payment. Whether it's a weekly pay period or monthly pay period, based on that, weekly, monthly, or 15 days of pay period, semi, monthly, whatever your pay period will be, the duration will go on with that. It doesn't matter, it's not obvious, you always of start that you'll be 15 months. It depends with particular date you have selected as a reference date. Now there is one more important concept. We'll take that. That is pattern start reference. Let's assume we have two dates. We have created two dates in the system. The first one is 10th March and 71 is 20 goes. First one is 10th March, second one is 21st. Now there are four options available over there. First option is start of reference date. Start of reference date means start on that date itself. The sequence will start from that date. If you have selected a reference date, it will start from 10th March. Let's talk about the monthly one for now. We are talking about a thing which has a monthly one. We are talking about the monthly one. Now, the first option is start of reference date at this 10th March. Whatever you will do, the date will start from 10th March. And this date is 21st March. You do start from 10th March at 10th April, 10th May, April, May, 10th June, 10th July, and it will start from ... For this one, it will be 21st March, 20th March, 10th April, 21st May, 21st is June and post. July and April will go on. Got it. Now the second option for the start of reference date, it will start from the same date. Same option is start on or before the reference date. Start on or before the reference date. That means wherever is your reference date, it will start on that or the before date. Whenever you select this option, you will get a drop down. Let's assume in the drop down we have selected 15. Let's talk about why these three options is basically used. Instead of talking about the purpose, like the use and how we consider that, let's talk about how. Let's talk about why. Why we use this particular pattern stock reference. The reason behind using this one is some companies. Some companies do what they do. They basically wants to credit to be done on a single date or a specific date, each and every. That is generalizing your applicable date, on which date you will apply those generalizing things. That there will not be any mess up like 15, 16, 17, 18, 18. You don't every day they are getting, and the manager or anyone who is taking care of that will get generalize or fix a date. Let's say 15 is a date. We will be giving the credit on the 15th. That's the reason we use this. These three options are used to generalize the data, granting the things, or taking or applying the limit. Now let's go back to the second option. Start on or before the reference date. That means either it will start on the same date or the date before your reference date. Now let's assume reference date. We have to reference the 10th margin. When you first and found the drop down, you'll get a drop down. Whenever you select these three options, you'll get a drop down. Another drop down. As you'll have select 15th, 15th, 1, 5th, 6th, 1, 5th. Now, this is moving before what this system will do. System will stand on your reference date and start looking before. Looking before means looking back. Start looking back. 15th. It doesn't matter what amount it is, it will find out if it will go on. From 10th margin, if you go back, you'll find 15th of 5th. That is what your date pattern will start on 15th, 7th, and it will go on 15th. You can see 15th margin. Your first credit should be done on 15th 12th using this particular date pattern. We will start on before the reference date. Now what about 21st margin? If you go back on 21st margin, the very first 15th will be the 15th margin. That's why you have 15th margin, and it will start from 15th margin to livers. Now the third type of haven't started reference is start on or after the reference date, on or after. That means either it will start on that date, it will move forward. Let's talk about that 10th margin. Let's look forward. It will go on to be a cubic, and it will find the 15th margin as your 15th. It will start from 15th margin for 21st margin. It will go forward and find 15th appeal. That is how the dates are defined. They start there. These are the start dates. And for this one, it will check what frequency you have selected. And based on that, it will give you the dates, the sequence, rectable sequence. Once you get the rectable sequence, the system will do the grants on that sequence only. Now the last option is fold. Close start, closest to reference date. Start closest to reference date means it will look backward and forward. It will open both the side. Whichever would be nearest, it will go to that place. 10th of March, there will be tour 15 February, 15th March. Out of the 15th March, which one is nearest? Obviously 15th March. That's why we have 15th March over here. Your sequence start date will be 15th March. Again, now what about 21st March? There will be 2 days. The system will look for backward and forward. Backward, it will get 15th March. Forward is going to get 15th upgrade. Which one is nearest? The 15th March or 15th upgrade? Obviously, the 15th March is nearest. The system will start from 15th March. This is all about the date patterns. The important items which are date pattern, we'll look about all the other options of these. All whatever, but like blocks you are talking, we'll go to the application and look at we have to log down. Nowadays, we need not to use today. We are done with this one. We talked about this application. We talked about it only. Now the next thing is probation period. Probation period is something like some kind of position. You are not permanent employer at the company yet. You can leave the company. You can go away with some minimum, not experience or not. But there are few things to remember in the probation period. Probation period is something which, whenever a new employee, whenever the new employee will get higher and starting period, it will be in the probation period. In India, the probation period for freshers. Talking about the thresholds. The thresholds, it is 1 year. Sometimes it's a 2 years of probation period or not. It's not a probation period. 1 year of probation period for fresher or maybe 6 months or 1 year. And for the experienced person, it will be 3 months or 6 months. During the probation period, your not experience is also very less. 1 year, 2 weeks. It will be 1 month. Now there are 2 types of probation period. The recurring probation period and single a recurring probation period is like if you have a 6-month probation period. It will go on continuously. Let's say you join a January Gen order, don't you like to? It's a month again. It will start January to do that. Much January Gen, You don't join until and unless. Now our concern would be, if it's a recurring one, how it will be cancelled. It will go on continuously. In that scenario, your actual policy, the main thing where these all things come together, the actual policy will be created with a removal of probation period, with a new factual one, comma and employee, and that whatever respective extra positive is in actual profile, and that actual profile will be assigned into your profile. In order to make you move from and your manager will be what it will be. It will be changing or he will be changing your actual policy. Once your old actual policy with the recurring probation period will be removed, you will get a really few route from the provision PGA to you and are permanent employee of the organization. But this is not the case for single. Singering will automatically expire after the duration. Let's say we have created a 6 month of single probation period, it will automatically be removed from your account. Manager's involvement is not required when we have single probation period, whereas when we have recurring probation period, yes, we need manager's involvement or some senior member's involvement into that shape. Now, two more things I want to let you know. That during the probation period, if you get a full report, and obviously you'll get an account of it, working on public holiday, weekdays, then only you can account for 4 if you did some extra work, kind of thing. Well, you might hear a problem. Now that 4 hours will be defined like this. You will have a bracket for Larsen and probation period. With P. If you see a P with the numbers number 4 days, that's just you have been to the bracket. That means you are working in probation period. And this is how the leaves been assigned or being allocated in probation period. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.